the days leading up to the much-anticipated Alaska summit, former U.S. President Donald Trump made waves by suggesting an unorthodox diplomatic solution to rising tensions with Russia: a land swap. The idea, leaked through insiders and later confirmed in a media briefing, involved a strategic exchange of certain underdeveloped U.S. territories for access to untapped Arctic resources currently within Russian control. While no specific locations were officially named, speculation ran wild, from sparsely populated Alaskan islands to remote Pacific atolls. Geopolitical analysts were split. Some saw it as a bold, Nixon-to-China-style move that could reframe U.S.-Russia relations. Others condemned it as reckless, potentially undermining U.S. sovereignty. The Kremlin's early statements were cautious but notably free of outright rejection. Putin's aides hinted that Russia is always open to creative diplomatic discussions, fueling intrigue ahead of their Alaska meeting. Meanwhile, public reaction in the U.S. was fiery. Alaskan local leaders vowed to oppose any ceding of land, citing historical grievances over the U.S. purchase of Alaska from Russia in 1867. Environmental groups warned of ecological disaster if Arctic drilling rights changed hands. The stage was set for a summit unlike any other, a high-stakes game where territory, resources, and pride were all on the table. The private jet's engines roared above the icy waters of the Bering Strait as it descended into anchorage. Inside, Trump leaned back in his leather seat, a folder marked confidential, land deal framework resting on the table before him. Across from him, Jared Kushner scrolled through satellite maps on a tablet, murmuring about strategic leverage points. "Vlad likes bold moves," Trump said with a grin. "If we play this right, he's going to think I'm giving him gold while I'm getting diamonds." Unbeknownst to most, this wasn't just about oil fields. Intelligence sources had tipped Trump off about a vast network of rare earth mineral deposits under the permafrost, resources vital for future tech dominance. The land swap was a smokescreen for a far more lucrative resource grab. In Moscow, Putin's advisors huddled in the Kremlin war room. On the wall, a digital map showed Alaska and eastern Russia, the Bering Strait glowing like a bridge between two worlds. One of his generals cautioned, "He's up to something. No American gives away land without taking more in return." Putin smirked. "That's why I like him. The game is more interesting when both sides cheat." Back in Washington, the Pentagon was on high alert. A secret memo warned that if certain islands changed hands, it could shift naval dominance in the Pacific and Arctic. CIA operatives in the Far East intercepted chatter about Russian troop movements, preparing, perhaps, for a negotiation backed by force. As the world's media descended on Alaska, the snow-covered city braced for what could be the most unconventional diplomatic showdown in decades. Palki Sharma, broadcasting live for Vantage, described the mood: two leaders, two visions, and a proposition that could redraw the map. The question is, will this be a handshake for peace, or the opening move in a new geopolitical chess match? The summit doors would open in less than 24 hours. Behind those doors, promises would be made, maps would be marked, and somewhere, hidden beneath the snow and politics, lay the true prize both men wanted. Anchorage's downtown was locked down under one of the tightest security operations in Alaskan history. U.S. Secret Service agents in thermal gear patrolled rooftops, while Russian FSB operatives scanned the icy streets with unblinking precision. The temperature was well below freezing, but the political climate was far colder. The media was buzzing with rumors. Some said the land swap proposal would involve uninhabited Alaskan islands. Others whispered about access rights to shipping lanes through the rapidly thawing Arctic. Economists on TV debated the economic benefits of shared Arctic infrastructure, while military analysts grimly warned of a 21st century Cold War rearmament if the deal collapsed. Palki Sharma, reporting for Vantage, summarized the mood. This summit has become much more than a negotiation. It's a battle for resources, influence, and pride, and the whole world is watching. The conference hall at the Anchorage International Summit Center was a fortress of glass and steel surrounded by snowbanks. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of freshly brewed coffee, polished wood, and raw ambition. Trump arrived first, wearing a long navy overcoat and his signature red tie. He carried the confidential folder under his arm like a weapon. Minutes later, Putin entered, expressionless, clad in a black turtleneck under a tailored coat. The handshake was firm but brief, the kind that looked polite on camera but hid 1,000 unspoken threats. "Let's talk like men," Trump said, his voice low but sharp. Putin smiled faintly. "We will talk like leaders." As aides placed folders on the table, a sudden commotion erupted outside the conference doors. A tall man in a heavy fur coat strode in without clearance, flanked by 2 guards who clearly didn't belong to either side. His presence was electric, calculated to cause disruption. It was President Xi Jinping's special envoy, General Lu Run. "I hope I'm not interrupting," Lu said in flawless English. "But any agreement about Arctic territory affects China as well. We're here to ensure we are part of the discussion." Putin's eyebrow rose slightly. Trump's eyes narrowed. Both leaders knew what this meant. The land swap was no longer a 2-player chess match. It had just become a 3-way poker game with a wild card at the table. Lu placed a small black box on the table and pressed a button. A holographic map lit up, showing the Arctic Circle and shipping routes projected for the next 20 years. "Gentlemen, these waters will decide the future of global trade, and the minerals beneath them will decide the future of technology. You can swap land all you want, but without China's participation, your plans will sink in ice." Putin leaned back, calculating. Trump tapped the folder. "You know," Trump said slowly, "I didn't come here to share my deal with anyone else. But if you're willing to sweeten the pot." Before Lu could respond, a Secret Service agent burst in, whispering urgently into Trump's ear. His face changed, not with fear, but with the realization that the negotiations might never get that far. Somewhere off the Alaskan coast, a Russian nuclear submarine had just surfaced, unannounced. The summit had turned into a live crisis.